Dr. Cameron Sheeler with UAB's biotechnology program. And today we're going to continue with our pipetting. It's pipetting 201, mistakes, common mistakes. So let's go over here and make some mistakes. I just picked up a P200 and I have it set to 150 microliters right here. Remember, this pipette that I'm using only goes from 20 to 200 microliters. Remember our last video, some of those knuckleheads and some of the questions, they weren't paying attention. We know only between 20 and 200 microliters. That is a mistake I've seen students make, trying to pipette a volume outside the range. That being said, we got 150 microliters. Remember? Tap it. One thing that's important, you see how I have this pipetter? It's pointing down. You can use it at different angles. Never break the horizontal and never go up. Why? Good question. Whatever liquid's in here, it will roll back in and contaminate this. Now, I use a lot of pipette tips. Now, this is a demonstration, therefore I'm going to use my hands when I shouldn't, is that if you notice that I actually have a filter inside that tip. This is important when I do tissue culture or any type of DNA or RNA work, PCR, etc. It prevents fluid from coming up and also any aerosols that may come up and contaminate my tip, which would contaminate my samples that I'm trying to use. That being said, don't do how I just did, okay? One of the mistakes that students like to make, they're in a hurry. We go to position 1, then we put it into the liquid. Slowly draw it up. Do that again. Position 1, slowly draw it up. I don't see any bubbles. Now we are going to dispense it. Position 1 and then position 2. Now here's one of the mistakes. Students will not go to position 1. They'll put it in here and blow bubbles. See the bubbles blowing? You see those bubbles? Don't ever do that. Another mistake that students make, they'll go to position 1, they may even put it in the liquid, but as they're pulling up the liquid, they're taking this out of the liquid. Now watch, my thumb's still pulling up. Can you see that gap? That means I didn't pull up the 150 microliters. This is what students will do. They'll pipette, okay? They'll look at that. I'll come by and double check their pipetting, and I will do it what we like to call the correct way, is I'll go to position 1, insert in, slowly bring it up, pipe off. Now, that's 150 microliters. That's what a student will pipette if they pull it up. Again, this is what they did. They put it in the liquid. As they're still, bring the thumb up, not waiting for the full volume to be in, they'll start pulling up the tip, leading bubbles. Not accurate, not good. So as you can see, they're different sizes, which means whatever you pipetted is not the correct volume. Voila, I just changed color. Now, let's do another mistake that students like to make. They'll go to position 1, then they'll go to position 2, then they will insert into the liquid, and then they'll pull it up. Remember, this is supposed to be 150 microliters. So let's go ahead and put this down right here. And they'll go to the second position. Doesn't that look like it's a little bit larger? It is, because they took extra volume. How do I know this? As a professor, this is how I'll go back and check my students' work. Watch this, 150 microliters, go to the first position, just like I'm withdrawing the liquid, and put it in the student bubble and slowly withdraw it up. Wow, look at that. There's quite a bit left over. That way, the student can see there is more liquid than there should have been, which will throw off an experiment. Now, I want to show you what it's going to look like, what we like to call the correct way of doing it. I'm also going to go to the first position, add it to the correct one that yours truly did. Slowly bring it up. Oh, it's pretty much gone. Now, you're going to see that there's a little bit of bubble there, and there's a little bit left. That's because you're not going to get 100% of it back. Yeah, I would expect to see just a little bit of a bubble in there if you did it correctly, because even though I put 150 microliters in there, some of it's going to be lost on the side of the tip or lost in the plate itself. But it's the accurate amount. All right, I'm going to show you another potential mistake. Make sure you get the right tip for the right pipetter and the right volume. Now, I'm going to try to get a 10 microliters using the P20. As you can see, it says 20 microliters. Why did I say 20 microliters? Because using a 20 microliter tip, I should be able to get 10 microliters on it. The reason I'm bringing this up is the tip, you can see where they have that filter. Remember, I use a lot of filter tips. If I actually have the same size tip, but it's for 10 microliters, that filter will be farther down. So if I'm trying to get 20 microliters in a tip designed for 10 microliters, but I want 20 microliters, that filter is going to be in the way. So make sure you use the right tip. You can't use a 10 microliter tip and get 20 microliters up. That's a mistake right there. Another mistake that happens is students will, when they insert, and I'm not going to do this because I don't want to mess up my pipetter, is that they'll go to the first position, they will put it in, and then watch my thumb really fast. What that does, it withdraws the liquid too quickly, and it literally comes up, splatters, and one will hit the filter, and or depending on the tips you're using, will get into the shaft itself and contaminate the shaft. Don't rush it. Take your tip, put it in the liquid, just put it in, and don't shove it again. Remember I told you, don't put it way down here. See how far down that tip is? That actually builds up pressure and it can push up liquid inside the tip. So what you'll do is just kind of put it in about that distance, slowly withdraw it. See how my thumb was? And then I'll put it in. Perfect. Do it again. Perfect. And one more time. This is an exercise that I will give my students where they actually have to pipette 4 or 5 different times, and I will come by and look to see if the bubbles are pretty much equal size. So that basically runs through many of the errors that happen or mistakes that students can make. Please don't make these mistakes. Practice, don't rush it. This concludes 201. Stay tuned for 301 as we continue our pipetting series. If you have any questions, please email me and I'll get back to you. If you have any suggestions, email me and I could take those into consideration for our next videos. That's it. Dr. Sheeler says, have a great day.